Bonjour, buenos dias. Here at TGA this year, we are offering GCSEs in French and Spanish. So why do a language then? Well, first of all, it can help you to develop your skills of communication. It can help you to understand your own language. It can help you to understand more in other subjects as well. And it widens your cultural knowledge beyond the local, the national to further. In terms of universities and colleges, they are also interested in seeing that students have learned a language, because it does show that those skills have been developed in those students. In terms of the latest research for jobs then, a great number of employers want language skills, and having a language, you can increase your salary by quite a bit. In terms of Brexit, that's now with us, English will be used less and less in Europe, and so therefore opportunities for people who can speak French and Spanish will be ever greater. But let's have a think about some of those jobs then. Some of these are perhaps quite obvious. Translator, that shows if you've done languages and you end up working as a translator, you work with your language and you show your cultural knowledge. A travel blogger, we can't travel much at the moment, but when we can, you can go abroad, talk to people, and then relay your experiences that you've had. Flight attendant is another one, you know, where you'll be talking to people in different languages who are traveling from one place to another. Engineer is perhaps, I don't know, less obvious, but if you are an engineer who has a language, that means you can travel and work in other parts of the world. Same with journalists. We all see journalists on the news, don't we, in different locations, and often those journalists are also excellent linguists. And passing on your knowledge as a teacher, again, communication, strong problem solving skills, and the ability to work as an individual and within groups, all part of what you will do when you do GCSE languages. It's not just that though. There are more glamorous jobs, I guess, as well. So you've got things like coach or football manager. If you think about it, there are famous footballers from this country who have gone abroad to play in Spain, in France, and who have ended up picking up the language. But if you have that language in the first place, it's quite good to have, isn't it? Hospitality, travel and tourism, and interpreting we've already talked about, but motor industry, a lot of motor manufacturers do not just have one plant in the world, they have them all over the place, and so therefore looking for employees with a language is something that they do. And again, we've talked about engineers, sports personalities. What I've seen recently on websites looking for people who can speak languages abroad are people who design games. So we've got there as well, gaming translators. So lots of jobs there, and armed forces and police, of course, as well, because police forces work in other countries, and armed forces, if you work in the armed forces, you do get to travel. We use a lot of really up-to-date resources to teach languages at GCSE, and a lot of them are online, and a lot of them students are used to. They're used to Linguiscope. The type of work that we do, they will be used to Studio and Viva in the different languages, and we also use the National Academy now to help students to revise and help students to do homework. But a lot of those things will be recognisable to our students, and we've been using it with them since they were in Year 7. In terms of the course, we have 4 exams, all worth 25%. A listening exam, first of all, usually lasts about 45 minutes. Some short pieces and longer pieces of French or Spanish with questions in English, multiple choice, and in the language. Speaking, our students have done really well in their speaking exams over the last few years because we prepare them so well. It's a 12-minute speaking exam, but they do 3 tasks. A role play, so they go and buy something from somewhere or pretend to buy something from somewhere. A picture that they have to describe. Now, we've been doing that as a task right from Year 7, a description, a picture description, and then this open conversation, some of which they will have prepared before. The reading's the same as the speaking, as the listening, sorry, really. You are looking at tasks instead of listening to them, but the same sort of answers for the questions. And the writing is 3 or 4 different little bits of writing, some translation, and all stuff that they've been working on right from year 7 again. So we've been building these skills in right the way through. But it could be something like describe a picture in writing. It could be write a short email or write a longer, freer piece of French. So we do that through 5 different areas. We talk about identity and culture in year 10, so that's looking at media, and it's looking about family, and it's also looking at how people celebrate in the different countries. We look at our local area, describing Gainsborough, and then describing Lincoln, and then looking at descriptions of places abroad. That takes us into holiday and travel, and we do school in year 10 as well, in both languages. In terms of the end point, year 11, we do future aspirations, so their next steps, as they would do in year 11 anyway, in other subjects, and we look at an international and global dimension. We finish that by Christmas, and that gives us plenty of time to revise for our exams. So to be able to be successful in languages, you need to have a go. I talk to students all the time about being brave in languages. So it's about talking, it's about writing, it's about working well independently, in pairs and in small groups. They must be willing to practice and revise each week. But again, that shouldn't be anything new, because students are set Linguascope work every week in Key Stage 3, and they're asked to revise and learn groups of words. So they'll be doing that every week again. Be ready for a new world of possibilities to open up. The student who I know over the last couple of years who's doing best is the person who opened themselves up to these possibilities by listening to Spanish music, watching Spanish films, reading Spanish magazines. If you get into it, it will help you do even better. Students have specialised from year 8 and done either 2 years of French or 2 years of Spanish. We're really looking forward to working with them even further, but they're well placed because they've done a lot of practice. But I will answer any questions that you would like to pose on that. So, muchas gracias. Merci. Thank you very much.